Back on Radio Row ahead of Super Bowl 59, and one of our favourites has joined us, defensive end of the Washington Commanders, Brits. Oh my God, that's your fault, Efe. You took it off and you signed it, and yes, now you hold on to that. He fumbled it earlier, by the way. Yeah, he can get the strip sack, but you want someone else picking the ball up. That's what I've just learned. Efe Obada's with us. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on, man. I'm just going to very quickly, we can edit out and do a cut. There we go.
Brilliant.
Just so we can hear you better. Look, we'd rather you were here and we were talking to you at opening night, and it was like so close but so far. But, man, to go from a 4-win team to NFC Championship game, like that's wild.
That's huge, honestly. We didn't expect, I think a lot of people didn't expect it. I think new ownership, new head coach, people think it's going to take a few years for everyone to get acclimated. But, I think fairly early in the season, we kind of felt like we had something special. The brotherhood was closest it's ever been, or I've ever witnessed it been. The involvement from ownership, the mindset that the head coach was creating was different. The level of accountability that was for everyone, and also just how each department was trying to improve from previous years. It's just let us know that it's going to be special, but to be able to come this far, so close, unfortunately. But I think this organization has something special here. There's just a few key pieces, and definitely be contenders.
How much of that, when you consider, you said it, ownership change, GM change, the whole thing, top to bottom, but how much of that comes from DQ?
A lot of it does. I think him and that combination between AP and Peters is integral, because AP gets the pieces, and DQ very defensive mindset, a leader, players coach, his vision.
It's kind of fascinating because he was the last coach in that hiring cycle. They went quite hard after Ben Johnson and didn't get him. And there was almost this idea like Dan Quinn was a consolation prize.
Yeah.
And yet you could argue
the best man for the job.
If his name instead of Kevin O'Connell's gets announced at Honours last night, I don't think anyone's arguing for him for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was going to win that for sure, but no, definitely not a consolation prize. He deserves that job. He got an opportunity. He made the most of it. He made his case, and I think Washington, he's turned that whole franchise around. They haven't had success in 33 years. He hasn't been this far in 33 years. You've got some diehard fans that still believe and love us, but it was very hard to be a supporter. But now there's some pride. Guys would, we've got people that are wearing Commander gears. I've not seen that ever. There's celebrities now that are coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm from Washington and I'm these." Where were you?
Not to call anyone out.
Not to call anyone out, but I'm just saying, there's some pride now being a Commanders fan.
Love that. And as much as that does come from the culture stuff comes from Dan, obviously the play calling and the team building comes from Dan, but that pizzazz, that thing, that comes from Jayden, right?
That comes from the quarterback for sure.
How special is this guy?
This guy he's the X Factor. He's refer to him as the X Factor in that building. But also, he's very swaggy, very composed, very talented, and also he works very hard. And I think that combination is deadly. At a young age as well. Someone that you wouldn't expect that. He faces adversity and he's able to just shrug it off and just rely on his teammates. When a play breaks down, he's able to extend plays. And he comes to work early, comes to work and works hard. He dedicates himself. He sacrifices, and he's very humble, very funny, very down to earth, and he carries himself as a professional.
How's he funny, out of interest?
He's young and he's got his little 1-2 jokes. So yeah, and that's it's still a locker room environment. So everyone takes the
Mickey.
Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking for. Takes the Mickey out of each other.
look, from that perspective, I think everything you said is bang on. What really stands out for me, and I'll be honest, and I think a lot of people have done this, I wasn't sure about Jayden to Washington. I wasn't sure that the fit was good. I wasn't sure that the fit with Cliff was particularly good based on the style of offense we'd seen from Cliff before. Turns out that he built an offense around Jayden that was kind of perfect this year, right? So it all came together beautifully. But the thing that stood out to me than anything else was I was worried about him physically at the next level. I was, he is a smaller guy, he's a slender guy.
Very skinny, yeah.
For someone who faces against him on, you'll do a lot of scout team stuff, you do a lot of, how elusive is he? How hard is he to put down? Because he just doesn't take sacks. It's wild.
He doesn't. Obviously, we have an amazing, like you said, Cliff's got an amazing offense. We have some really good running back room that that's able to kind of chip away at those yards. Terry in that receiving room gives him all the options he needs, but his ability to extend plays with his feet is bar none. He is slender, but I think that works in his favor.
It's honestly,
he has a way of, he's real slippery, and he's deceptively fast as well. So that's really important. But then sometimes when he does take those hits, because he is skinny, you kind of worry. You're like, oh, is he going to break when he does bend? But yeah, he's a competitor like anybody else, So
tough as well.
Yeah, he has that mindset. He's had some adversity. He's taken some knocks in some games, and I think he had something with his rib or the oblique, and then he wanted to keep going. But obviously we have great leaders behind him like Mariota, who's able to kind of step in and carry him and be on the sideline and coach him up. But yeah, he's very, very elusive. You have to be on your A game when you go against him.
Honestly, sometimes when I see top tier open field tacklers coming off the edge, and he's like Mr. Fantastic, like his body just bends around them, like exactly. It's not like he's got. I just don't. I sometimes watch it and go, I don't understand how he's just done that physically, and yet he somehow stayed on his feet and just picked up 12 yards.
And he has that composure to be able to just dead leg you and just give you a little juke and just go the other way. Because some quarterbacks don't have that. They're just gonna slide or. And that's something we had to teach him to do as well. Because we watch film, and early on in the season, he wouldn't go down, and the whole team meeting room like slide, 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 and then he's like, okay. And then one time he did it, he slid, and it was like,
whole sideline goes wild for a quarterback slide.
So it was funny, it was hilarious. But these are things that like I said, the brotherhood and the leadership, and veteran guys taking on the younger guys, that kind of built. He felt. We created an environment where he felt like he could grow, make his mistakes, learn. And I think because of that brotherhood, he committed, and he didn't want to let us down.
It is really interesting to me, because actually I'm going too hard on this, or maybe I'm overreading it. And I always felt like people were unfair on Mike Shanahan with what happened with Robert Griffin III. But it really shows to me the way that organization has changed. That you compare to 10 years earlier, you had a similar guy, great runner, could extend the plays, slippery, everything else. But when he got injured, they put him back in games. Right. Now it feels like there is just that bit more care. There's that bit more attention, and that comes from ownership down. It comes from structure down.
Definitely. And we know he can sling the ball, and it's just another proof. It's proof that that style of quarterback works.
Some of those throws, right?
Elite.
The outside throw to Jahan Dotson in the divisional round, where the pressure's coming off that right-hand side, and he slips out, like he moves the pocket, slips out to the right, and hits that throw on the run to outside the numbers. Like they get down to like the 2-yard line. Is truly, I think, one of the best throws I saw in the NFL this season. Unbelievable. So I love him. I think he's brilliant. What about for you? You talked about that culture and that thing around there. And obviously for you saw less active time this year. You've moved between practice squad and active squad. And was that a bit easier because of what was around the building for you to accept a role like that? But for you, is that something that you would happily go back and continue that? Or are you looking for a team now that are going to have you as an active roster player? Or are you, where's your head at with everything?
Definitely, I think coming off an injury, coming off a broken leg, having to miss OTAs, training camp, definitely set me back. Worked my arse off to get there, got on the active, and then bounce from like active to practice squad. practice squad isn't not knocking it. It's still on the team. It's playing a supporting role. You know, it's not something that I want to be on long term. I think, you know, part of a great team just waited up for my opportunity. Never really came after I was put on the practice squad, but it took a while to kind of accept that role. But I'm a vet. There's a lot of guys that could benefit from my experience. So I imparted that. I brought energy. I brought brotherhood, and just stayed healthy, stayed ready, and that's really all I could have done in that situation. But moving forward, my priority is always going to be to contribute physically to a team. Always be able to provide for my family. That's first, actually, to be able to provide for my family, second, contribute on the team. But I still feel like I have a lot of football to play. I don't. Apart from the broken leg, I don't think I have a lot of mileage or knocks on my body.
That's it for a guy in your 30s. You haven't played football like these guys who were playing contact football at 13 years old, right? It's not 20 years. It's just over 10, just less than 10 even. Like
exactly. So I think my priority this year is going to be going on a team that's going to see my value and that's going to put me in a position and know how to utilize me and contribute. Maybe that might be Washington. Maybe that might be somewhere else. But all I can do is get ready and present that and make a case.
Love it. Absolutely love it. You here for the game this weekend? You're doing it on TV, right?
I'm doing ITV. Myself, OC, Jason, and Greg will be doing the ITV coverage, and we're going to smash it. So
that's all right, isn't it, that little lineup?
It's a great lineup.
We had Bobby Akereke here earlier,
yeah,
and just talking about the NFL Africa stuff and going out doing those camps. Like, you guys have the best time.
We do.
Honestly, I thought Super Bowl was fun. Watching you guys do that and improve that community and do everything you can is great.
For sure. And honestly, last year we had OC and his advert just to be able to see that on a grand stage and just show everything that he's worked towards and all the sacrifices that he's made and to see the community, like you said, he's trying to help, was huge. And, you know, I'm just happy that now, hopefully, the talent pool and the opportunity pool expands to, you know, Africa.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, man.
Pleasure.